Hey, beautiful souls. Now, it's a bit of a bonus. I wasn't actually planning on ow, it's my leg, chicken. I wasn't actually planning on doing this, but I realized that it's actually a very, very important point. And it's something that has tripped me up many, many, many times in the past. And I mean, this is quite an intense program. When I run this as a kind of full length live program, it will be longer and there'll be more time in between sessions to do homework and to dig deeper into homework. But this kind of came up the other day and I realized that it's something that has tripped me up a lot in the past. So it's very, very important. And I thought it's so important I need to bring it in today. And I just want to give you an image of watching waves on a beach. The waves pull back before they come in again. They pull back before they come in again. And if you think of tides, when a tide on one beach has gone out, a tide on another beach on the other side of the world, whatever, the tides come in. We often lose before we gain. And what I mean by that is everything in life, you've got the law of cycles I talked about the other day, cycles of night and day, waking and sleeping, cycles of the moon, cycles of the seasons, spring, summer, blah, blah, blah. And what happens when we start to change the way we think, the way we are, everything around us changes. Everything around us changes. And here's the other thing that happens. When we kind of level up, and when I say this, I don't mean that there's anything wrong with anyone else, but when we level up, we can outgrow people. And this is often where you sometimes get people who are quite negative. Say you want to try and do something, you've got a dream, you want to do something, people will try and drag you down. Or if you start to change in any way, say you're a people pleaser and you suddenly start having more respect for yourself and you stop being a people pleaser, there will be people who don't like it. And they want to try and drag you down to keep you at their level rather than them rising up to your level. And look at it this way. I used to love playing with Cindy's. I was team Cindy rather than team Barbie. I think I had a Barbie, but I was mostly team Cindy. And I used to love playing with my Cindy's. Absolutely love it. But I outgrew them. I used to love playing with Lego, but I outgrew them. I mean, if you still play with Cindy's and Barbies, that's fantastic. But I outgrew them. And what I'm trying to say is we outgrow things, and that is okay. That is perfectly natural. But us humans tend to try and cling on. We tend to try and cling on to people, places, things, which is why so many of us end up staying in unhealthy relationships, whether that be with friends or with colleagues or with romantic partners. We hold on to stuff, we hold on to old letters, we hold on to things that are broken. And to make way for what you want, we have to make space. It's like if you want a new partner, you have to end the relationship you're in now. Most people do. To attract in what we want, we have to make space. And what can sometimes happen is that it may seem like things are getting worse before they get better. Take, for example, me. I am building my online community. So I'm moving away from face-to-face. Not that there's anything wrong with face-to-face, but I want to reach more people and do less running around. A lot of my students I have now, they like face-to-face because they like the social interaction. And that's perfectly okay. But the students I am attracting now are different because online, I can reach exactly who I want, my dream client. If I was to design my dream client, there's probably only maybe one or two of the many, many, many of my current students who fit that criteria. So I am focusing on a new client. I know that a lot of my current students don't want to go online, and that's okay. So what is going to happen and what is happening is a lot of people are kind of dropping away. They're not coming with me on my journey. And it is really hard to hold faith, because there's a part of me that every now and again thinks, oh, maybe I should just stick with what I was doing and da 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 da. But that's the thing. When we level up, when we make changes, we often leave behind the people who want their life to stay the same. I just want to say that again. We often leave behind the people who want their life to stay the same. Now, there's nothing wrong in that. There's absolutely nothing. It's not a criticism. It's a simple fact. It's like, perfect example throughout this pandemic, I've seen like a divide. You've got the people who are like sat at home waiting for life to get back to normal, and say that's perfectly fine. If their life excited them and they're perfectly happy and fulfilled, that's great. But I've also seen the other side, of which I am part, of so many people making changes, assessing their priorities, deciding that they want their life to be different, deciding they want their new normal to be different from what it was. And so there's going to be a disconnect. You are going to move away from the people who want their life to stay the same. Now, that's not saying that there's anything wrong with those people. And that's not saying that, you're better than or anything like that. It is just a simple fact. Say you were in a ballet class, for example, grade 1, and you took all your exams and you moved up to grade 5. You would not want to go back to grade 1. You would not want to be in the grade 1 class, because it just wouldn't fulfill you anymore. It wouldn't challenge you anymore, and you'd start to get bored. But there are some people who maybe don't ever want to progress from grade 1. They probably don't even want to go up to grade 5, and that's okay. If they are happy staying in grade 1, that's perfectly okay. But there comes times when we have to lovingly let go of the people, the places, the things that want to stay the same. If we want to change, if we want our life to change, we have to be willing to lovingly let those things go in order to bring in what we do want. Because I was kind of getting, not kind of bored, but I wasn't feeling as fulfilled. And actually, I'm so grateful for this lockdown and stuff, because I discovered teaching online, I can teach exactly how I want with no restrictions. And I don't want to go too boring into whatever, but I rediscovered my passion. And I cannot teach that way. I cannot use all the skills I have in the way that I want to use them in the setting that I was teaching in. It's just not possible. It's not practical. The rooms are too cold, not enough props, it's not practical. So I am up leveling. And there are some students who are coming with me who love what I'm doing and want to come with me. And there are a lot who don't, who want things to stay the same. And that's perfectly okay. But we have to be able to lovingly let things go, let people go, let relationships go, let jobs go, let whatever go. Because we cannot attract what we want if we're still holding on to what we've got. We cannot attract what we want if we're still holding on to what we got. And why is it? As soon as I start speaking, my mouth gets like dry. But here's what's happens. And it's happened to me so many times, which is why I can say this with absolute confidence, because I've been there so many times over the past year at least. We often get tripped up by fear when things don't seem to be happening as quickly as you want them to, and by fear of losing. So I need to pay my bills. So the fear of losing present students is scary, and that kind of keeps me back. So imagine this is where you are, this is what you want, and at the minute you're kind of gradually moving closer and closer, but it's scary, because to move closer to this, you need to leave behind what you've got. And what you've got may seem safe and secure. And so you get to this halfway point where you're starting to move away from what you've got, because you're leaving behind the people, places and things that don't want to come with you. And that's absolutely okay. It's okay for them, it's okay for you. And so there becomes a little bit of a space where you start thinking, shit, have I made the right decision? How am I going to cope? How am I going to pay my bills? Am I doing the right thing? And then we get those fearful thoughts. When we get those fearful thoughts, we feel anxious. The more anxious we feel, the more fearful thoughts we have. And then we fall back into those old habits, those old negative beliefs of, oh, maybe I can't do this, maybe I should just give up, things aren't happening. And I'll tell you how it's gone for me. And this is over the past year. I'll be really fired up. Yes, I'm going to do this, blah, 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 and I put in loads of effort. And then when things don't seem to be going the way I want, I start thinking, oh, it's not happening for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not meant to be doing this. Maybe blah, 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 blah. Maybe I should just quit, blah, 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 blah. And I realized that these thoughts were happening in a cycle. So I decided to start making a note of it on my calendar. And I noticed after much kind of like self-observation and stuff that it happens when I get tired. When I feel physically tired, because I noticed that like kind of around once a month, I would start to feel low. I would start to lose my energy. I would start doubting myself, start questioning myself, start feeling miserable. And then of course, as soon as I start thinking, oh, I'm no good, it's not going to happen for me, no one's going to want to work with me, it's not going to work out, I might as well quit, no matter how hard I try, it's not happening, blah, 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 blah. And then because I was having those thoughts, that would affect my energy. So I'd feel even more tired, da, 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 da. And I realized that it was happening when I was tired, because I was trying to work out, was it my mood that dropped first or my energy? Because my energy, my mood would drop. And I noticed that after observation, after charting it on my calendar, I noticed it's my energy that drops first. So my energy drops, so I can be all full of energy. I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, everything's positive, everything's wonderful. And then of course, as we do, I would get tired. I mean, it's probably based on hormones, even though I don't have periods anymore. And when I get tired, if even one little self-doubting thought starts to worm its way in, if I don't catch it, then I will start to feel even worse. And I will start to buy into my own bullshit, which is, oh, maybe I just can't do this. Maybe I'm meant to struggle. That was one that's come up before. Maybe I'm just meant to struggle. No! Remember what I said yesterday? Life wants you to succeed. God wants you to succeed. Life wants you to be prosperous. Life wants you to be successful. But those thoughts come into your mind, come into my mind. Maybe I'm just meant to struggle. Maybe I'm not meant to achieve my dreams. Maybe I'm just meant to stay as I am. Maybe I should just be grateful for what I've got. Maybe blah, 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 blah. And, oh, excuse me, I think I got a parcel. Just leave it by the door. Oh, hold on 2 seconds. Right, where was I? Naughty chicken! Naughty chicken on the table. Anyway, yes. So of course then those thoughts start to come in, and then I start to feel depressed because I don't want to stay where I am. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it doesn't fulfill me anymore. It doesn't excite me. So I start to feel depressed. So because I'm very self-observant, I watch my thoughts, as I make notes of when this happens, and I realize that I drain my energy even more by sinking into this, it's never going to happen for me, I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. And here's a perfect example of nothing being an accident. I saw a comment the other day someone had made about, she helps people who, when they're, I can't remember exactly how she put it, but basically, exactly the stage I get to. When people get to the stage of doubt, when things don't seem to be working with the law of attraction, and they fall back into fear and doubt. And it was basically exactly what had been happening to me. Just imagine that every time you start falling into fear and doubt, you're this close. You're this close to what you want. You're just about there. But you go back into that low vibration, that, oh, nothing's going to happen for me, it's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as that happens, you go like that again. The thing you want moves further away. And it's like a stumbling block, and we trip over it time and time again. And I noticed that the last time I went into self-doubt, I got myself out of it in like an hour or so, because I caught those thoughts. I caught those, nothing's working no matter how hard I try, blah, 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 blah. Because as I said last week, we need to get into the energy of what we want before we can attract it. So we need to be excited as if we have what we desire right now. Whereas most of us are like, I'll be happy when I have it. I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when I've got my job. I'll be happy when I've met my partner. We need to be happy now, and we need to stay in that energy. And the time we need most to stay in that energy is when that fear starts to nibble in, because that is the last stumbling block. And that is where so many of us trip and we have to start again. We trip and we have to start all over again. So the last time I was tired, and the second I had I don't know if I can bother to do this today because no one's paying attention, it seems like, and that goes on to, no matter how hard I try, nothing works out for me. Why am I even bothering? Maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just accept that it's not going to happen for me, blah, 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 blah. But this time I was able to say, what the fuck are you talking about? You know in your rational mind now that life wants you to succeed. Life wants you to be happy. Life wants you, whether you want to call it God, whatever you want to call it, it wants you to have everything that you desire. And so therefore, if I can hold on to the belief that God, the universe, divine intelligence wants me to succeed, then that is the faith that I need to hold on to when I slip into fear. And I have this image of a snake. A snake bites its own tail, so it goes round and round and round. And I have this image of chopping the snake up, chopping its head off. It's not nice, I don't like cruelty to animals, but this is what you've got to do. This is why you've got to be super, super aware of your self-doubting thoughts, of your fearful thoughts, because you need to imagine you've got like the big burly doorman bodyguard standing in the gateway to your mind. And any kind of thought of, oh, maybe I can't do this, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm meant to struggle, you're like, no, you ain't coming in. You are not coming in. Because like I said the other day, the fearful thoughts that we have, the imposter syndrome thoughts that we have, they're usually the same thoughts that we have over and over again. They come up once a month, whatever, once a week, whatever. They're the same thoughts. You start paying attention, they'll be the same thoughts. And you need to be aware of your patterns and cycles. So for me, it's when I'm tired, when I physically drained, mentally drained, and I'm tired. So now I know that that's what's likely to happen, or what could happen. I can be aware of it. And the other morning, I woke up and it was almost one of my first thoughts that like, oh, nothing's working how I want it to work, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, almost give myself a slap. I was like, no, you're not going there. You are not going there. Because like, you could be on a good vibration. You start listening to those thoughts, you go down. So I was able to remind myself, right, this time last week, you were full of enthusiasm. You were so sure things were going to work out. That's the vibration you've got to work at. Because here's the thing. We get challenged the most right before the breakthrough. If you ever heard the story about 3 feet from gold, about someone who was digging and digging and digging and digging, looking for gold, they got fed up, so they sold the gold mining business to someone else, and that person thought, I'll just dig a bit more, and they dug and they were 3 feet from gold. Because you never know when you're 3 feet from gold, but we give up too much, we give up too early. And as I said, the tide has to go out before it comes back in. So it will seem as if you are losing stability, losing friends, losing a job before the good comes in. And that's when you'll go, no, can't do it, cling to the old. And I know because I've been there. And that is when I have to remind myself the most to hold my faith. Because remember, faith relies on us believing in something we cannot see. Fear relies on us believing in something we cannot see. We can believe, oh, it's never going to work. Because why? Because it hasn't happened now. It's not going to happen overnight. It's almost like life is trying to say, well, I just want to see if you're really determined, and I'm just going to dangle a carrot in front of you because I'm going to have to take this away before I can give you this. And so it may seem like things get worse before they get better. And that is when you need to go back to the absolute truth, which is life wants you to have everything you desire, whether that's a new relationship, whether that's a new career, new business. Life wants you to, but you can't. It's like a cup. If I were to pour water in here, it would overflow. If I want to pour more water in, I have to tip some out. And so they say nature abhors a vacuum. Nature abhors an empty space. But we need to create an empty space, or an empty space needs to be created before it can be filled with what you do want. So we have to start accepting that we need to release some things, whether that be people, places, the past, habits, behaviors. We need to let go of some stuff before we can attract in that which we desire. And I listened to a lady called Tosha Silver. Absolutely love her. She's a Jewish American lady, and Outrageously Open is one of her books, and It's Not Your Money is another one of her books. And I've written this little prayer, or an adaptation of a prayer, which is, I let whatever needs to go, go. I let whatever needs to come, come. And that which passes me by, I lovingly let go of in order to make way for something even better. Because here's another thing that sometimes happens when you're working with the law of attraction. You say you want XYZ, and the universe will come along with something that's kind of slightly, it's like, you want a pen, you want a gold-plated pen. And the universe will come along, and it's a crap example, this is what I've got to hand. You want gold-plated pen. You visualize this gold-plated pen, you really want it in your life, you're excited about having it, and the universe comes along and says, well, here's a pen. And most of us, what do? We go, well, it's not quite what I want, but I should be grateful for it, really, shouldn't I? I should just, because I might not get the gold-plated pen. So maybe I should just grab hold of this and, settle for this. And it happens with relationships as well. And it's happened with me. Perfect example. It's happened with me. I know the person that I want a relationship with. I know the kind of relationship I want. And I have had at least 3 guys who tick most of the boxes, but not all of them. And it's like the universe is saying, well, here's close. And I could say, okay, yeah, I'll settle. Or I could say, that's fantastic. That's bloody brilliant, but it's not quite it. And lead the way for what I really, truly do want. But we get stuck in fear. We get tripped up by fear, or we get tripped up the idea of, well, maybe I should just be grateful for what I've got, because I might not get anything else. Go back to what I said the other day about this whole universe being your resource. Your resources aren't just what you got in your purse or what you got in your cupboard. It's the whole universe. And when we open our mind to that, it becomes so much easier to hold on to the faith. When we think about, well, I've only got this much money in my purse, whatever. Another example, I need to get my teeth done, which is going to cost £200. I didn't have £200, so I was going to cancel and say, oh, I'll wait till I've got money. But I didn't because I reminded myself that this whole universe is my resource. This whole universe is here for me. The money is out there somewhere. The ability to pay is out there somewhere. So I've kept faith. I've got half of it already. Came yesterday. But that's the thing. I could have given in to fear. I thought, oh no, I better wait till I got it. Or I could decide to trust that it will come, that somehow it will come. Because remember, money is energy. It's just a form of energy. It's just an exchange, like bartering, like me saying, you cut my hair and I'll give you some tomatoes. It's just a form of energy exchange. But we get tripped up with fear. So I really wanted to jump in and kind of give this bonus training, because I know, because it's happened to me time and time again, that we get so close to what we want. And then because we need to let go of that which no longer aligns with us to make space, and that's when the fear kicks in. The tide pulls out to make space, and we go, oh, shit, maybe I should just give up on my idea. And it will happen to you. And those are the times when you need to say, I let whatever needs to go, go. I let whatever needs to come, come. And that which passes me by, I lovingly let it go to make room for something even better. Because this is how the universe works. Water flows to and from the ocean. So for energy, for that which you want to flow to you, something else needs to move out of the way. And that may mean leaving behind friends, that may be leaving behind people, that may mean leaving behind relationships, that may mean leaving behind a job that provided security. And I say security because go back to the universe being your provider, not your bank, not your cupboard, not your job. It's like the cat's knocking the thing off. When we focus on the fact that it's the whole universe that provides our resources, we can then start to feel less fearful. This past year, suddenly finding myself on my own at a time when my income was reduced, and due to all the nonsense going on, the only thing that has kept me going sometimes is faith in divine order, is faith that my needs will be met somehow. The affirmation I used the most was, I have everything I need right now. I have everything I need right now. Because the only time you're alive is in this moment. And by staying in that vibration, things happen. People gave me stuff. People sent me food. Things happen because I kept that vibration. I stayed in that vibration, using that affirmation that I have everything I need. And I'm so grateful I have everything I need right now. When you add that on, I am so grateful I have everything I need right now, because you need to keep your vibration high to attract everything that you desire. But you need to be prepared that you will leave behind others whose life wants to stay the same, and that is perfectly okay. Send them love, send whoever it is love, send whatever it is love as you move up to the next level. But just know that that will trip you up. There will be times when you start to doubt. There will be times when you fall back into old patterns of belief, like maybe I'm just meant to struggle, maybe it's not for me, it happens to other people, it doesn't happen to me, and all that other bullshit. Once you become aware of that and know it's going to happen, you can be that big bodyguard standing at the door of your mind and say, not today, you're not coming in today. And it's hard work sometimes, keeping in that vibration. It is hard work, but it's hard work being fearful. And that is when I come in. If you have going through those times when your ego starts, because that ego is like a vulture sensing blood, and it comes and goes, sucks the lifeblood out of you. And those are the times where you just say, Donna, I'm having one of those moments, and I can bring you back to the divine. The whole universe is there for you, for me, for everybody. It's just most of us are going around going, I don't think I'm worthy. No, it doesn't happen for me. I don't deserve it. Which is why the first thing I said to you on day one was, tell me all the reasons you're not worthy. Because it's bullshit. Because we're all worthy. We're all worthy. It's just most of us don't remember it. Most of us don't remember it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And so I'll move day 8 to tomorrow, as you had your bonus today, and that'll give you more time to work on what we did yesterday. I'm trying to kind of like do some of mindset, body work, so you've got time to work on bits in between. But enjoy the rest of your day. I was going to go out in the park, but I think it's about to chuck it down rain, so change your plans, move with the rhythm and flow of life, which I used to be terrible, by the way. If my plans were upset, I would just seem to fall apart. If I had planned to do A, B, and C, and A didn't happen, I would just end up doing no thing. I'm learning to kind of move with the flow and just kind of like, okay, that didn't happen, so what do we do now? And it's taken me a long time to get where I am now. People say, oh, I'm so, I admire you. How are you so strong? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you why, because I've worked at it. I've worked at it, and I still work at it. So enjoy whatever you're doing. Much love to you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm going to pick up the mess that's shadow. knocked all on the floor, and the chicken is now eating cat biscuits. It's just a bit of a madhouse, but I love it.